hukutana, vijana hujifunza stadi za maisha na watoto hukua wakilelewa katika misingi ya imani.
Yes, hello. Naongea na Jen.
Naongea na nani?
Yes, Jen. Tuko hapa kwako tunakata stima. Hii bili yako hujalipa.
Hai, kwani mnakata stima na Friday afternoon?
Yes, madam. Tunafanya kazi kila siku. Lakini usikuwe na wasiwasi. Hapa tunaweza saidiana.
Kims, nikatie stima hii weekend mimi.
Haina wasiwasi. Ukitupatia kama 2k ya lunch, tunaweza acha kukata sisi turudi ofisi.
Mimi niko na 1k tu.
Basi tuma 1500 tumalizane.
Sawa.
Umesikia? Wanajaribu kuchezea Jen hapa game rough kuruka. Sikiza. Hakuna mtu anafaa kukupigia simu akuambia ulipe kitu kidogo ama utoweka kitu ya lunch ati ndio usikatiwe stima. Na kama kuna mtu anakupigia akidai ati kwamba uko na deni, kata hiyo simu haraka.
Oh, kumbe mlikuwa mnataka tu mniponde.
Tumekuja kuwashika. Buda boss utamulikwa. Tumekuja kuwashika.
Well, Deputy President Kithure Kindiki says that plans are underway to resolve that drought crisis. We know that a number of counties are currently facing starvation, and the government says it plans to upscale the intervention measures in at least 23 of those counties.
On the cabinet, we take you back in time to a man who survived detention, witnessed power tides, and was a controversial architect of land settlement policy.
That's right, and also later on in the business segment, Kenyan banks receive a positive outlook by the rating agency Moody's, and also in sports, HSBC 7 squad has been named. All that coming up, but first things first, a look at our top stories. Death at a quarry.
A family is in agony after 4 siblings drowned in a waterfield quarry in Kanyakwar, Kisumu County.
We summoned them to appear before us on Friday.
Yes. Na tukisema 20 sisi wote hakuna mali tutapelekwa.
Brewing storm.
Senators angered at governors for skipping summons, while governors unanimously suspend all summons accusing senators of extortion and harassment. Enhancing diplomatic ties.
President William Ruto calls for renewed commitment to international order during a meeting with heads of diplomatic missions and international organizations.
Very warm welcome to the Prime Edition this Monday.
Our socials at KBC Channel 1 on X, Facebook and YouTube. I am Muchuma Odim. Our sign language expert tonight is Angaine.
And I'm Mboya. Straight to our lead story. 14 counties risk facing sanctions tonight by the Senate for skipping summons and instead opting for a leisure retreat in Kilifi.
The Senate County Public Investment Committee has warned that it will petition the freezing of further funding to Lamu, Laikipia, Tharaka Nithi, Murang'a, Embu, Baringo, Nandi, Siaya, Tana River, Nyandarua, Mombasa, Makueni, Elgeyo Marakwet and Kajiado counties after their governors failed to honor invites to shed light on how they utilized funds for the 2024-2025 financial year.
But the governors are hitting back. And this is what they're saying. They claim that the committees have been turned into avenues of intimidation, extortion, and harassment.
Here is that report.
By Abdiaziz Hashim.
Good morning, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members.
Residents from 14 counties could be starved of resources in the current financial year if the action taken against their governors by senators on Monday is anything to go by.
I have been told that the witnesses who are governors have a retreat in Kilifi.
They have gone to retreat to sleep and eat the money. They have gone to play along the auction.
Sometimes these governors, Chair, appear within the corridors of the Senate and then suddenly they disappear, Chair.
This is after governors from Lamu, Laikipia, Tharaka Nithi, Murang'a, Embu, Baringo, Nandi, Siaya, Tana River, Nyandarua, Mombasa, Makueni, Elgeyo Marakwet and Kajiado gave prominence to a retreat at the coast over accounting for how they used public funds in the period under review.
We will not pass disbursement schedule for those counties. We will recommend to the Finance Committee and to the Senate.
All the governors who have not appeared here have decided that they want to deny our people money to come to the grassroots. That must go on record.
Like in northern Kenya, they have drought crisis. That money they have taken to retreat, they should have donated to address the drought that we are facing in northern part of Kenya.
The Senate County Public Investment Committee has further issued summons for Lamu Governor Issa Timami, Tharaka Nithi Governor Muthomi Njoki, Murang'a Governor Irungu Kang'ata, and Embu's Cecily Mbarire for failing to appear before senators on Monday.
We summon them to appear before us on Friday.
The Council has resolved that governors will not appear before the Senate Public Accounts Committee until these concerns are addressed.
The senators stated that their audit report must be processed within 3 months after the Auditor General concludes its report. The audit reports are expected to be tabled, debated and passed on or before the 31st of March 2026. But the governors are hitting back, claiming the committees have been turned into avenues of intimidation, extortion and harassment.
Why is it hard if they have not stolen? Why are they going to discuss the Senate in a retreat? And I'm told they want to approach our party leaders to tell your committees to go slow on them.
Yes. Na tukisema 20 sisi wote hakuna mali tutapelekwa.
The members of the Senate County Public Investment Committee have vowed to take their proposals before the Senate tomorrow when they resume. Abdiaziz Hashim from Parliament Buildings, Prime Edition.
From Parliament to bilateral ties, President William Ruto says Kenya and Italy have forged a new path in education and research through a number of collaborations.
Now, while presiding over the signing of a memorandum of understanding between Kenya and Italy at State House Nairobi, Ruto said that the initiative will, among other things, facilitate the exchange of researchers, faculty members, and students, promote joint research projects, and also enable the shared use of scientific as well as technological infrastructure between the two nations.
In a significant step towards enhancing educational and research ties between Kenya and Italy, the two nations sealed a deal Monday that will see Kenya gain especially in education, scientific research and technology.
We have a great Kenyan-Italian community in Kenya. We have Little Italy in Kenya. And hopefully we shall have Little Kenya in Italy someday.
President Ruto says the signed MOU would enhance knowledge between the two nations, especially in the rapidly evolving field of artificial intelligence, AI.
We will participate, we will be co-creators of technology, governance, use and benefits of artificial intelligence.
According to Ruto, the new chapter will play a crucial role in equipping 70 technical and vocational education and training institutions with cutting-edge technology.
Our science, research, technical training, artificial intelligence ecosystem, your coming and your representation of your government here confirms to us the essence of the relationship and the friendship.
The agreement is furthermore expected to enrich the academic and cultural experiences of participants from both nations. Italy's Minister of University and Research, Anna Maria Benini, who was present, expressed her country's commitment to realizing the objectives of the MOU, including the mobility of students, researchers, and university teaching staff.
We have to implement infrastructures, technological infrastructures, large research infrastructures, but the first infrastructures is human capital.
On to now a rather disturbing story. A family in Kisumu is mourning the tragic loss of 4 siblings who drowned at a quarry site on Sunday. The bodies of the 4 aged between 8 years and 15 years have since been retrieved and taken to Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Teaching and Referral Hospital morgue.
Irate residents are now demanding justice, accusing the contractor of failing to backfill the quarry, which has turned out to be a death trap.
Wiklicho Kitch has the painful details of what transpired leading to their death.
Kanyakwar village in Kisumu County. Shock and grief was evident as the family of the 4 deceased brothers tried to come to terms with the news of the death of their kin. The mothers of the deceased boys were overcome by grief at the tragic turn of events. Their father, Felix Okoth, recounted what transpired before they received the news of the death of their 4 children.
So jana nilikuwa tuna wao, hawaendagi hapa kwa kware kujiogelea. Tata jana nilishangaa sana walikuja hapa aje. Juu niliwaachia ripoti waoge, wanachotaka maji kwa mfereji hapo kwa madhe, wanaoga. Saa zingine wanachota kwa kisima hapo kwa Edward, wanaoga nayo. So hao wawili wakubwa ndio wanachoteaga hao wadogo wenzake hao. Juu niliokataza hao wadogo wasiende kuchota maji kwa kisima.
According to their father, they had gone to fetch water at the excavation site. One of them got into the deep end of the over 5 meters deep water-filled hole and struggled to return to the surface. The other 3 rushed to rescue him, but unfortunately, they all drowned.
Baadaye sikifika saa 12 nikapigiwa simu na father ako hapa, kaniambia hebu kimbia hapa, kuna kitu inafanyika. Kamuuliza ni nini? Akaniambia kimbia, watoto wameingia kwa maji. Nikakimbia mbio mpaka hapa, nilikuwa na pikipiki. So kufika hapa nikaputa ndugu yangu mwingine ashaingia ndani. Ameshatoa mmoja, watatu bado wamebaki ndani. So wakasaidiana hivyo wakawatoa wote.
The family is appealing to well-wishers to support them to bury their children.
Mimi nataka tu mnisaidie nizike hao vijana wangu, Mungu atanibariki tena.
The incident has sparked condemnation with government agencies on the spot.
You cannot come and excavate Maram here without the authority of those who are concerned, those who give you licenses to do the same. So they should be following this so that the full enforcement is done.
They say despite repeated appeals to have the excavation areas cordoned off, little has been done.
It is quite disheartening that we've had this for some time. Last year alone, we lost a child from the same school community.
The locals here want thorough investigations to be conducted and the officers found culpable of any wrongdoing in this entire thing be subjected to the clause of the law. The locals also want landowners to stop abating mining activities that flout the law.
Jamii yetu pia wako na makosa kwa sababu wakati walikuwa wanachimba hii wangeongea na wale warudishe mchanga ili isilete madhara hii, lakini kwa kupenda pesa wanaonelea tu wachukue pesa ibaki namna hii.
The locals here have maintained that they will not allow any excavation works to continue here until their complaints are fully addressed. Reporting for Channel 1 from Kisumu County, I am Wycliffe Okech.
Onto a story we highlighted for you at the beginning of the broadcast. The government has resolved to upscale drought intervention measures to at least 23 counties currently facing starvation.
Deputy President Kithure Kindiki says that more resources have been released to procure additional food and non-food items for the estimated 3.3 million Kenyans in dire need.
According to Kindiki, plans are also underway to create a permanent solution to the perennial drought crisis in drought-prone counties, such as water tracking system and diversification of food system.
Opicho Champai reports.
With over 3 million Kenyans currently facing starvation across the country, with Lamu, Mandera and Turkana among the worst affected owing to the failed 2025 October-November-December rainy season, the government has upscaled its drought intervention measures that will ensure Kenyans in the affected areas have sufficient food supplies to avert any drought-related deaths.
Assure the people of Kenya that the government views the current situation as a serious situation, but at the same time assure the people of Kenya that we will not spare any resources to make sure that we don't lose human life.
Deputy President Kithure Kindiki, who was speaking in his current residence after meeting cabinet secretaries, principal secretaries, and heads of the relevant agencies, also noted that the government has reviewed the food distribution networks for constant availability of food and non-food items through the activation of the last mile delivery program.
We are taking a little long for the food to reach the population in their areas, and therefore we've directed that those teams be activated, and we are going to work through a better supply chain and last mile delivery program going forward.
While calling for complementary efforts by development partners to combat the drought impact, Kindiki noted that permanent plans are underway aimed at cushioning the perennial drought crisis in drought-prone counties.
Also making interventions for water tracking, for livestock and for people, and we're going to request for that process also to be expedited.
Meanwhile, as this is unfolding, the March, April, May long rain season is set to kick off, with counties in highlands west of Rift Valley and Lake Victoria Basin, such as Bungoma, Trans Nzoia, Elgeyo Marakwet, among other counties, expected to begin this February, while rains in other counties is projected to commence in early March. Opicho Chemtai for Prime Edition.
The government pathologist is set to conduct an autopsy on the body of Cheryl Adhiambo, a 21-year-old medical student who was reportedly shot dead by police on Saturday in Huruma Estate here in Nairobi County.
This comes amid rising calls for the police officer involved in the shooting to be held accountable.
The Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, has since announced it has begun investigations into the fatal shooting, appealing for calm.
John Jacob Curia has compiled this report.
The incident leading to the shooting of a college student triggered violent protests on Sunday as Huruma residents demanded justice for the family. A distraught mother
Mtoto wangu hayuko tena. Ya Cheryl naonge kendo. Ya Cheryl wangu hayuko tena. Cheryl mawangu kitili tiario.
robbed of her child by a weapon that should have protected her.
Hakulengwa. Sijui, siwezi eleza vizuri juu mimi nimepata mtoto wangu ako na bunduki ama imepitia huku na alikuwa kwa kazi yake. Kwa kazi yao, amekaa kwa kazi yao. Si nimekuambia saa 1:40 amenipigia simu tumeongea. Saa 1:50 napigiwa ati amekufa. Amepigwa bunduki, ameshutiwa. Na kangekuwa kijana ningesema hata alikuwa ameleta vurugu, ni msichana wa shule, ni mtoto wa shule.
The National Police Service says the deceased was caught in the crossfire as they pursued robbery suspects.
Cheryl was minding her business kwa kibanda, anafanya kazi yake, anaendelea na shughuli yake. Ile altercation ilikuwa huko nje ya polisi na nani, she had no business in it. But still, tunaona amepigwa risasi na ameuawa.
With calls growing for accountability and the arrest of a state officer, the Independent Policing Oversight Authority says it is investigating circumstances around the shooting. IPOA says investigators are processing evidence and witnesses that will inform subsequent recommendations. The family, IPOA and human rights activists are expected at the post-mortem examination by the government pathologists on Tuesday. John Jacob Curia, Prime Edition.
Well, it's exactly 18 minutes past the top of the hour. You are watching Prime Edition, and coming up,
Radio Week. We are celebrating everything about radio, from their presentation to the music they play to the programs they give to us. And we had color code and dress code for this week.
Red.
Come on, Tom.
Red. Red. Of course, also today the world is marking the World Epilepsy Day. All that coming up after the short break. Please stay with us.
Halo, habari ndugu. Unaongea na Joffrey hapa.
Habari Joffrey.
Mimi nakupigia kuhusu ile request yako ya kupata connection ya stima. Sisi tunaweza kufanyia deal, ulipe pesa kidogo tu na sisi tukuharakishie connection yako.
Utanisaidia sana bwana Joffrey.
Sisi tutafanya mambo iwe rahisi. Kwa kawaida utalipa 100,000 na utangojea siku mingi. Lakini ukitoa 20,000 saa hii tunakuconnectia ukuwe na stima hata kesho.
Natuma saa hii.
We, hao matapeli wamekuja sana. Connection ya stima hufuata process. Hakuna shortcut. Shortcut ni ya wakora. Malipo yote ya Kenya Power hupitia channels rasmi peke yake.
We mzee, hizo ni gani unajaribu kunifanyia?
Tumekuja kuwashika. Muda boss utamulikwa. Tumekuja kuwashika.
It was a polo event that we got to attend at the Nairobi Polo Club.
From stylish outfits to thrilling polo action, it was a day to remember.
You know, there were different stalls that were showcasing different things that are connected with fashion.
Beautifully brought cultures together. It got to showcase unique and authentic designs crafted from diverse African fabrics. Call entertainment scene speedily twirls into a lucrative business venture among the young and agile Abantines. The group is made up of Israel Onyach and Mboya Tajiri, two artists who have grown into one of Kenya's most promising contemporary music acts.
Welcome back, our socials.
At KBC Channel 1 on X, Facebook and YouTube.
Now, the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation kicked off World Radio Week with a series of events ahead of the World Radio Day set to be commemorated this coming Friday.
Among the activities was an exhibition tracing the evolution of radio from the analog era to the digital waves.
That's right. The global theme of this year's World Radio Day is Radio and Artificial Intelligence, or AI if you like, innovation that empowers, ethics that inspire, and trust that endures.
It highlights how AI can strengthen radio's role without replacing the human voice.
Our reporter John Cairo has the details of that AI story.
Monday morning at the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation in Nairobi, several exhibitions were on display, showcasing the journey of radio through time and technology as the state broadcaster kicked off week-long activities in the run-up to celebrating the World Radio Day on Friday.
Tumeanza na KBC Radio Taifa, alafu mpangilio huko kesho Tuesday tutakuwa na stations zingine hizi za lugha ya mama. Kwa hivyo tumepanga mambo mazuri, hata umeona mashabiki wetu wamekuja kwa wingi sana, wamefurahi. Wanafunzi pia tumewaalika, wamekuja tukawapeleka studio, tukaonyesha pile yale mambo ambayo tunafanya kule studio.
From analog consoles to sleek digital mixers, studio microphones to mobile broadcasting kits, the celebration pointed to the theme of change from analog to digital. And now, the era of artificial intelligence.
So AI comes as a tool of trying to give a capture on what the intro maybe the presenter need or the outro that the presenter need. And by the end of the day, we focus on the bigger picture. How can we make super and splendid news out of AI? Remember, it's not replacing us, it is adding value.
The Kenya Broadcasting Corporation's Managing Director, Agnes Kaleche, who toured the exhibition stands, said KBC radio stations had embraced the emerging technologies to enhance audience engagement and expand reach beyond the traditional airwaves.
Look at our, social media pages. When you go to KBC, radio social media pages, and by the way, we have almost like 13 radio stations plus, 7 substations. You'll see a lot of activities. It's not just about one-way communication. We are engaging the public. We are talking to them. We are getting feedback. So radio, you can see that transition from a monologue kind of communication to where we are right now. So exciting things are happening at KBC. I invite the public to come and see the transition of radio, and we're ready to welcome you.
During the festivities, there were renewed calls for institutions of higher learning to anchor media training on innovation, digital storytelling, and the future of broadcasting.
So by 2029, CBE products are coming to tertiary institutions. How prepared are we? But as KMC, we are very prepared, both audio-visual and in cinematics and infotainment and infographics.
On Wednesday, we are having all the dignitaries who will come and see the progress of radio, especially from KBC, where we started to where we are right now. On Friday, very, very exciting event. We are having all the fans of Sundowner. They will come, meet their stars, give feedback, and let's have fun. So I invite the public to come.
The Kenya Broadcasting Corporation will be hosting a week-long series of activities aimed at showcasing the importance of radio in public education, with conversations centered on the importance of leveraging on the artificial intelligence to ensure that radio is not just surviving, but also adapting to the evolving digital world. John Kahiro for Channel 1 News, Nairobi.
So the entire week we'll be celebrating the World Radio
Week.
Yes. So how will we be doing it here at BH?
We're celebrating the beautiful voices, the people behind the mics.
How will we do it? Are we going to tell? Are we going to use attire, for example?
Yes, we'll be doing different attires from Monday to Friday, appreciating the work they do.
Yeah.
Beautiful voices. Sundowner, one of them.
Yeah, that's true.
The breakfast show.
Yeah. So I hope to see you in that kind of attire tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, we'll do that. Let's now cross to the corridors of justice. An imam accused of obtaining money by false pretense has been arraigned at the Milimani's Chief Magistrate Court.
Now, the Office of the Director of Prosecution informed the court that the suspect, Ustad Omar Athman Omar, swindled over 700,000 from a complainant under the guise that he would organize a pilgrimage to Mecca in Saudi Arabia, only to vanish after receiving the money.
Details in the Scales of Justice segments.
Ustad Omar Athman Omar was in court on Monday after being arrested at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport on 7 February 2026, shortly after landing from Saudi Arabia. The investigating officer stated the suspect had promised the complainant Mohammed Balewa that he would facilitate him and his family with Umrah visas to attend the pilgrimage. The prosecution urged the court to deny the accused bond or cash bail, citing they had received several complaints and the suspect was a flight risk. Chief Magistrate Lucas Onyina will make a ruling on Tuesday, 10 February. Elsewhere, Trial Magistrate Rose Ndombi will rule on whether she will allow the release of travel documents for Lilian Wangui Oduoma on 20th February. Oduoma alias Lilian Weru urged the court to adjourn and release her passport as she needed to travel outside the country urgently for business. Oduoma is charged with conspiring to defraud 30 million shillings from Elizabeth Wanjiku Muigai by pretending she would help her secure a standby letter of credit from Pacific Concord International, FZC based in Dubai. Ruth Wamboi for Prime Edition.
Well, Kenyans have been urged to remain vigilant as they seek jobs abroad amid rising reports of cases of individuals who have been duped into fake overseas work, including deployment to the Russia-Ukraine war.
In his briefing, government spokesperson Isaac Waura said that the government remains committed to weed out cartels in the recruitment chain to ensure the safety of all Kenyans.
Now, his remarks come as more families continue to mourn and seek government assistance in repatriating bodies of their kin whose lives have been lost in search of opportunities abroad.
The search for greener pastures abroad has turned tragic for some Kenyans who are duped into joining the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine, leaving behind mourning families.
They hoped to go for better jobs. They were not told which job they were going to do. They were taken to Russia. Here in Russia, they were forced to work as military personnel in Russia.
As they await the repatriation of the bodies of their loved ones for burial, the government is calling for extra vigilance among job seekers.
Our people who go out there to work need to be very careful in terms of where they go to work. Those rogue, agencies that were there have actually been, removed from the register and will continue to do so. But Kenyans will be protected by the government, at whatever cost.
On the state of drought in the country, he assured the public that proper measures have been put in place to cushion the affected households.
The government committed to putting in place, I think should be actually up to 4 billion, on a regular basis, so that we are able to procure the right kind of food. There have been very serious efforts, even with the county governors of the affected areas in Garissa, in Wajir, and all of that, to ensure that we ring fence, monies for water, for animals and all of that.
On the Grade 10 transition, the government spokesperson said over 90% have already joined their various senior schools, with efforts ongoing to attain 100% transition rate.
There could still be, students who are yet to go to report to Grade 10. And those are the ones that then we need to look at as a government and using the various ways in which we are able to finance them. There is a presidential bursary scheme, there is a ministerial. There are quite a number of ways, including the Member of Parliament and the counties, so they are properly identified and they are assisted, and even also Kenyans of goodwill.
Maura has further called for political tolerance ahead of the electioneering period, saying the journey for Kenya to attain first-class status is well on course.
There have been this concern, are we abandoning the better plan? Are we moving away from what we promised Kenyans? And the answer is no. The better plan has become a very good springboard for the Singapore dream.
The government spokesperson has maintained that based on the performance of the key sectors, the country is headed in the right direction. Nancy Okware reporting for Prime Edition, Nairobi.
Today, the world marks World Epilepsy Day, a moment dedicated to raising awareness, breaking stigma, and pushing for action on a condition that continues to affect millions globally.
In Kenya, epilepsy remains classified as a tropical neglected disease despite being treatable and manageable.
Advocates say the biggest challenge is policy, awareness, and access to care.
Our reporter Aaron Marie files this story.
Epilepsy is one of the most common neurological conditions, yet for many Kenyans living with it, diagnosis and treatment remain out of reach. According to epilepsy advocates, a significant number of people with the condition are either misdiagnosed or not receiving treatment at all, widening the treatment gap.
It woke me up to the need there is, especially in a third world country, for education.
Mainly we celebrate the International Epilepsy Day so that we create awareness about epilepsy and we fight stigma, which is the main factor that leads to the 80% treatment gap. Only 20% of patients with epilepsy are getting treatment as they are required.
Speaking in an exclusive interview with KBC, the chairman of the Kenya Association for the Welfare of People with Epilepsy, Dr. Osman Mienji, raised concerns over the alarming disparity between those diagnosed with epilepsy and those currently under treatment.
In Kenya, it's a similar story. We only about 75% don't, or 75 to 80% don't get any treatment. Some countries in Africa, the figures are even worse. Now, epilepsy is a treatable condition. We can treat them, and then they can lead a normal life. They can go to school, they can work, all right, and they can be controlled.
He says bridging this treatment gap requires a deliberate policy action, stronger health system, and sustained public education to remove epilepsy from the list of neglected diseases.
Initially, epilepsy was a neglected disease. People did not think much about epilepsy. People were more interested in lots of other diseases. Okay, in the third world, in the developing countries, we were concentrating more on the infectious diseases, which were now more important to us.
While some progress has been made in Kenya, epilepsy patients continue to face deep-rooted stigma. And as Kenya joins the world in marking this day, epilepsy champions are calling policymakers to action to ensure awareness is created on available treatment. As the world marks World Epilepsy Day, advocacy groups are calling on more awareness and an end to stigmatization with people living with epilepsy. Reporting for Prime Edition, I'm Aaron Marie.
To other developments, the Kenya Nutritionist and Dietitian Institute, KNDI, is warning non-trained individuals to desist from offering nutrition and dietetics services to Kenyans.
KNDI Chief Executive Officer Dr. David Okeo said that any unlicensed or even untrained person found commenting on issues of nutrition will be arrested and prosecuted for flouting the law.
Dr. Okeo at the same time challenged media houses not to host unlicensed individuals to offer nutrition advice. Dr. Okeo's warning also followed the hosting of a non-practicing individual on a radio talk show who purported that ugali was a useless meal.
Dr. Okelo affirmed that ugali, while a staple food in Kenya, is not only a meal but also a source of energy. He said that KNDI is committed to safeguarding public health and will collaborate with media stakeholders to promote accurate and evidence-based information to the public.
Engagement with the non-registered and non-licensed persons contravenes Section 32, 33, and 36B of the Nutritionist and Dietitians Act, and may lead to arrest and possible litigation against individuals or such individuals and the host or the employer, including media hosts. This is just for purposes of best practice. So we have seen cases where doctors are now shifting from their usual practice to get into advisory matters on diet. And that is why we are saying we are not going to allow them, because they are regulated within their medical profession, particularly for the physicians. And the nutritionists are also regulated. And they cannot be accountable for the statements they make because they lack that training and registration.
Now, trainers and community leaders have converged here in Nairobi for a workshop that draws focus on integrating mental health and psychosocial support with peace-building initiatives to combat sexual and gender-based violence in the Great Lakes region.
The program aims to equip participants with survivor-centered approaches, including trauma-informed care, community protection, and conflict-sensitive strategies to prevent and respond to sexual and gender-based violence.
Organizers of the workshop have also called for collaboration between health workers, peace builders, and local authorities to ensure survivors of sexual and gender-based violence are supported, community resilience is strengthened, and sustainable peace is promoted within communities in the Great Lake region.
Focuses on sexual and gender-based violence. And the main objective for our being here and the training is to increase understanding about the issue of mental health and psychosocial support, as well as peace building.
Tonight on the Cabinet, we revisit the life of a man who shaped Kenya's land policy in the early years of independence, survived detention during the colonial emergency, dominated Meru politics for decades, and witnessed the shifting tides of power from Kenyatta to Moi.
He was a freedom era politician. He was a long-serving cabinet minister. He was a controversial architect of land settlement policy. This is the story of Jackson Harvester Angaine.
Jackson Harvester Angaine was born in 1900 in Gaituku village, Ntima location in Meru. He was the son of Paramount Chief Angaine Mlitiria. In 1913, he joined the United Methodist Missionary Society School in Kaaga for his primary education. He later proceeded to Alliance High School. Angaine undertook the London matriculation course but did not proceed to university. Instead, he chose to work as an accountant. His political journey began when he joined the Kenya African Union and became the party's Meru district chairman. On October 1952, a Mau Mau assassination triggered white settlers' calls for decisive action against Cow leaders. Angaine was detained in Kajiado, Makinon Road, Hola and Manda Island, the latter known as Hardship Detention Center for nationalist leaders believed to be Mau Mau ringleaders. Upon his release, Angaine joined former Cow leaders at the formation of KANU in March 1960 in Kiambu district. In the 1961 multi-party elections between KANU and its rival KADU, Angaine won one of the Meru seats. He was appointed parliamentary secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Forests and Wildlife, and later transferred to the Ministry of Education. Re-elected in 1963, Angaine was appointed Minister for Lands and Settlement, a docket he would hold from 1964 to 1979. It was arguably one of the most complex ministries in independent Kenya. He was tasked with settling millions of landless Kenyans in the former White Islands, navigating the competing pressures of economic realities and political expectations. He also faced demands from freedom fighters seeking swift redistribution of land, an almost impossible task. In 1976, Angaine became the most senior cabinet minister to join the campaign spearheaded by the Gikuyu, Embu and Meru Association to amend the constitution. The aim was to prevent Vice President Daniel Arap Moi from automatically assuming the presidency upon the death of President Kenyatta. Angaine, like other politicians who had supported the Change the Constitution campaign, found themselves isolated in the new government. In the 1979 general election, he lost his parliamentary seat to Ntere Mbogori, marking a significant shift in Meru politics. Soon after, squatters invaded Angaine's 4,000-acre farm in Timau, an indication that he had fallen out of favor. However, Angaine staged a comeback in the 1983 snap election, called after their dismissal of Charles Jonjo over alleged treason claims. Angaine won comfortably. 2 years later, in 1985, he was appointed Minister of State in the office of the President, replacing Kabere Mbijiwe, who had been dismissed. His return marked a dramatic political resurgence. In 1988, during the controversial Mlolongo Q voting elections, Angaine was re-elected at the age of 87. He reportedly asked his constituents to declare him Member of Parliament for life, saying he was fit and capable to lead. But the political landscape was shifting. In the 1992 multi-party elections, DP swept the Meru region, leaving KANU with only one seat. Angaine lost the Imenti North seat to mathematician David Moiraria. He also lost the Meru KANU branch chairmanship to Silas Muriuki, a position he had held since independence. Attempts to groom his son Muchuma as his political successor did not succeed. Jackson Harvester Angaine died on 23 February 1999. He is remembered as the minister who handled one of the trickiest dockets in independent Kenya, settling landless citizens and shaping post-colonial land ownership. Jackie Wambiru, the cabinet.
Yes, hello. Naongea na Jen.
Naongea na nani?
Yes, Jen. Tuko hapa kwako tunakata stima. Hii bili yako hujalipa.
Ai, kwani mnakata stima na Friday afternoon?
Yes, madam. Tunafanya kazi kila siku, lakini usikuwe na wasiwasi. Hapa tunaweza saidia.
When the deal is too good, think twice.
Lakini kitu moja inanishangaza na wewe.
Hii ni kuhatarisha maisha yenu nyi wenyewe na pia ya wale mnaenda kutokea kwa manyumba zao.
We are diving into the mind. Stay vigilant to get safely and legally connected to the power grid.
Koti hii imewapata na hatia, na mkiwa mkuridhika na uamuzi wa koti, mko na siku 14 za kurudisha apili.
Na kama kuna mtu anakupigia akidai ati kwamba uko na deni, kata hiyo simu haraka.
Oh, kumbe mlikuwa mnataka tu mnione.
Tumekuja kuwashika. Muda bosu tamulikwa. Tumekuja kuwashika.
Leave, let go. I need to check your ID. I'll call security. Let go,
get up.
Go.
Let her go. Hands off her.
Don't overdo it. You've been working the night shift for months.
Why get other staff to take your shifts? Why do you youngsters always ask for so much? Why can't you just figure it out yourself? Why should the hotel pay for your problems?
Have a nice day.
What did you do to my car? Come here.
Sir,
get over
calm
here.
down.
Well, look here.
Welcome to the day's business.
African governments have been urged to intensify efforts towards the removal of long-standing barriers that limit trade between African countries as the continent looks to strengthen food security and attract private investment into its agri-food sector.
Industry experts say that this will enable African countries to trade more efficiently with each other, to lower the cost of moving goods across borders, and also to unlock new markets.
Mukami Nduta opens our coverage in the world of business.
Intra-African trade remains relatively low, accounting for less than 20% of the continent's total trade, compared to much higher levels in Europe and Asia. Experts say poor infrastructure, policy inconsistencies, high tariffs and slow border processes continue to discourage businesses from trading across African markets.
Agri-food value chains from farming to processing and logistics remain underdeveloped. This matters because sustainable investments in the agri-food sector can generate jobs more intensively than any other sectors.
As a result, governments have been encouraged to take the lead by investing in regional infrastructure, adopting digital trade systems, and using blended finance to de-risk cross-border projects.
So you are submitting the same documents to customs, to immigration, to plant health, to standards authorities, and sometimes to security agencies, and each carries out separate inspections. So for agri-food trade, these delays are particularly disastrous and costly.
Players also noted that reducing trade barriers and strengthening policy coordination will be key to attracting private capital and growing Africa's agri-food value chains.
Kenya supports the acceleration of AFC FTA implementation to unlock agri-food value chains that can operate across borders, connecting producers, processors, logistic providers, and markets.
Stakeholders within the agriculture sector are now calling on governments to shift their focus from dismantling policy as well as finance mechanisms that have remained barriers hindering intra-African trade. Reporting for KBC Channel 1, my name is Ndota Mokami.
To an interesting item, Kenyan banks have received a positive outlook by the rating agency Moody's.
In its latest ratings, the agency upgraded its credit outlook on key Kenyan banks on account of improved macroeconomic conditions, easing lending rates and lowering default risks that have bolstered confidence in the financial system.
Benson Rioba compiled this report.
Weeks after global rating agency Moody's upgraded Kenya to B3 from CA1 on account of strengthened external liquidity and reduced near-term default risk, the agency has also given a positive outlook to Kenyan banks. Moody's analyzed 3 Kenyan banks, namely KCB, Equity, and Cooperative Bank. The agency says Equity Bank has a strong brand, capital and liquidity buffers, and solid profitability countered by elevated problem loans and a low provisioning coverage. It says KCB reflects its deposit-based funding profile, improved capital and profitability metrics, countered by its high problem loans. Moody's further say Cooperative Bank reflects its stable profitability, strong capital and liquidity buffers, constrained by its exposure to the government and high problem loans. Overall, Moody's says non-performing loans in the Kenyan banking industry is projected to decline towards 15% over the next 12 to 18 months from 16.5% in November. The drop will be supported by a lower lending rate and accelerated credit growth. The rating agency lauded the Central Bank of Kenya's move to increase minimum core capital requirements to 10 billion shillings by 2029 from 1 billion shillings, arguing that the requirement will accelerate consolidation, resulting in larger, better capitalized banks. Benson Rioba reporting for Prime Edition.
Kenya have created 10,000 jobs in the last 3 years as the country continues to collaborate with development partners to build capacity investment promotion.
Principal Secretary Abubakar Hassan Abubakar says the country is continuously improving business conditions through development partners to ensure Kenya remains attractive to global investors.
Alan Aoko is the one who puts straight that report.
As of late 2024, Kenya gazetted 33 special economic zones and contributed approximately 91 billion shillings to the country's gross domestic product. These zones offer incentives including a 10% corporate tax for the first 10 years and exemptions on import duties. Now the government wants to improve these conditions and attract more investors.
In terms of enabling environment for these zones to be more competitive and conducive, so far we have put 10 legal interventions in our Finance Act of 2023 and Business Laws Amendment Act of 2024.
Abubakar says that the plan is to eliminate the challenges that often discourage investors from investing into the SEZs.
When they come, they see we are open, we see we are safe, but they ask us, are you investor ready? Right? So now this program, this cooperation will strengthen our readiness for these investors.
SEZs that has been established during the last few years, the success rate actually is pretty positive. There's significant amount of private sector jobs and investments that has been generated in those zones.
The government has an investment target of 1.48 trillion shillings in foreign investments annually through the special economic zones, amplifying the need for collaborations.
We want to ride on the experience of IFC and the support they've given elsewhere in doing so together with our investors. The one thing that we've been lucky so far in doing is to be able to carry our investors together.
The country is investing in special economic zones as engines of growth to fast-track industrialization, attract global investors and create wealth for citizens.
Another win for collaboration. The government hopes that partnering with development partners will cure some of the challenges in SEZs, such as bureaucracy and linkages through logistics. Alan Aoko, Prime Edition.
Time to get sporty now. The United States of America and Canada Rugby 7 men's teams are already in the country for the HSBC Sevens Division 2 tournament scheduled for this weekend at the Nyayo National Stadium.
They arrived today morning with the Argentina women's team to join Germany and China, who have already settled in.
Meanwhile, hosts Kenya have named their national sevens teams Shujaa and Lioness for the upcoming World Rugby 7 tournament, where they hope to live up to their billing. Here's that report.
Shujaa team will be boosted by the return of John Okoth and Chris Santojwang after injury setbacks that ruled them out last season. David Nyagige earns his first Shujaa call-up following impressive performances on the local circuit, according to head coach Kevin Wambua, while experienced players Vincent Onyala, Kevin Wekesa and Dennis Abukuse are expected to anchor the side as they target a strong start to the three-leg Division 2 series. They'll be co-captained by George Oro and Samuel Asati.
We're at home, so we know there's pressure, but it's some good kind of pressure. I mean, playing in front of your families, your friends, and the crowd will definitely push us to achieve our goals this weekend.
The Kenya Lionesses coach Simon Odongo also unveiled a squad blending experience and youth. Sheila Chajira captains the side, deputized by Freshia Oduor, as young talents Marvel Oswago and Charity Nila received their first national call-ups after standout performances. Stella Wafula is back from New York, so is France-based Grace Okulu and the reliable Janet Okello, who was based in Japan.
I think on our part, what's left is just to make sure that we lift the flag of our country high. And this weekend we'll have 12 women.
The team's kits were also unveiled today in an event that also Kenya Power Foundation inject 3 million Kenya shillings towards the HSBC Sevens tournament. Backed by home support at the Nyayo Stadium, both Shujaa and the Lionesses will be aiming to make a strong statement in the opening round of the 2026 HSBC Sevens 2 season. Sean Muya for Prime Edition.
The national women's pool team finished second at the All-African Pool Championship in Durban, South Africa, featuring black ball, K-ball and tent ball.
Now, this historic achievement for the team also secured their qualification to the World Black Ball Championship slated for London in October of this year.
The Kenyan team, which was fully sponsored by the Kenyan government, was making its first appearance in the finals of the Continental Championship.
The women's teams advanced to the team's events finals, where they lost to South Africa 13-13. The host also won the men's team title after they defeated Tanzania 13-5.
Team captain Collins Tuwei described the performance as the best ever to be registered by the Kenyan team, crediting their success to good preparation and mental strength.
The Kenya Pool and Billboard Federation President Ben Ndumu hailed the result as a major milestone, saying that the team exceeded expectations despite the squad challenges. He urged government to support schools, to support universities, to support community leagues so that they can develop local talent.
In the meantime, Kenya has submitted a bid to host the 2028 African Pool Championship.
We feel elated, but as we promised you, we had a very, very good team, our ladies team, but we didn't think we were going to get to the final. But they did some magic and we thank God.
We beat South Africa at their own home, despite us having faced challenges of, traveling late, getting to the venue late, some of us almost missing chances to take part in the singles, It was, I'd say that was the biggest highlight.
Getting this opportunity to go to South Africa, it's a great honor because it's something we've been looking up to. It's something tumepata for the very first time, and we thank God for that. We thank the government.
Thomas Finziel of German surged to the lead in the men's 40-plus age archery category, finishing top of the leaderboard after round one of the competition in the ongoing Open Masters Games in Abu Dhabi.
He registered a strong tally of 580 points from 77 arrows in the games, which are geared towards promoting a healthy lifestyle and promoting cultural inclusivity through sports.
Fred Mwoki, that's right, has more details on that story.
The spirit of unity through sports was passed on as the inaugural Open Masters Games Abu Dhabi entered its third day across different venues in the city. German Thomas Weizieri was impressive in the archery event, registering a strong tally of 580 points in round one. Close on his heels was Boris Domitille of France, who finished second with 462 points, having used 66 arrows in his round. Behind him in third place was Russian Evgeny Danilov, also on 66 arrows, who registered 418 points to round out the podium positions in the 40-plus age category.
Sports is important to become a community. We are from other clubs, but we are archery community and sports community make us together.
It's really incredible. Lots of things, lots of weird things in this event.
In horse jumping competition, British equestrian Jessica Charlotte delivered a standard performance, clinching the gold medal.
Next time, I hope that the numbers will increase for participants, but as of this competition, everything ran very smoothly.
I really enjoy it. It's so well organized, and the venue for horse jumping is amazing, as always, so I think organizers has done a great job.
Sportsmen and women have been asked to embrace sports after retirement in a bid to promote a healthy lifestyle as the clarion call for inclusivity and community continues to take shape in the inaugural edition of these games. Reporting for Prime Edition from Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, my name is Frederick Mwoki.
From Dubai back home, Kenya's Ministry of Interior Executive Protection Unit took less than 3 minutes to tackle 8 obstacles on the third day of the ongoing 2026 United Arab Emirates SWAT Challenge in Dubai.
The Kenyan team of 5 officers took 2 minutes, 43.04 seconds to overcome day 3 challenges, beating a host of nations that needed more than just 3 minutes and a half to cross the finishing line.
Having mastered the plan of hostage rescue from the first 2 days of the UAE SWAT Challenge, Day 3 had a different test altogether, with Kenya's Executive Protection Unit also getting the job done in under 3 minutes. From zipline obstacle, obstacle run, sniper shoot, door breaching, assault targets to officer rescue and back to the zipline, the Executive Protection Unit needed 2 minutes 43.04 seconds to complete the task. They posted the best time compared to other opponents, including hosts Ras Al Khaimah Police, who went past the 5-minute mark to complete the task, and the Renea of Albania, who used more than 3 minutes and a half to reach the finish line. Royal Thai Police was among the fastest teams of Day 3, making it through the obstacles and back to the finish line in 2 minutes 20.20 seconds, 23 seconds faster than the Kenyan team. Meanwhile, Kenya's top shooter, Master Ibrahim Ndungu, has been appointed a member of the Firearm and Licensing Board for a term of 3 years. Ndungu of the Bamburi Rifle Club was appointed by the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration, Onesmus Kipchumba Murkomen. His appointment comes after he qualified as an A-class competitor, the first ever Kenyan to achieve such a high International Practical Shooting Confederation IPSC classification. Ndungu is preparing to represent Kenya at the Extreme Euro Open Championship in May and European Championship in June this year.
It's exactly 1 minute past the top of the hour. It's time to go now. We want to thank you so much for watching Prime Edition. We'll be back again same time tomorrow. I am Tom Mboya.
I am Muchuma Odim. Our sign language expert tonight is Angaine.
Good night from Nairobi.
Sahi, ukidial star 419 hash option 4 ama uingie kwa tushinde.com, hakuna probox. Jaribu.
Ni ukweli. Yaani nimeshaingia na ndio tunafyeka.
Ya inaona iko ndani. Wanaongelea nini hao?
Ni shamba. Na sio moja, sio mbili, shamba 3 hapa Juja.
Very nice. Na ni area moja development na growth iko promising sana. Stima iko ndani. Hiyo. Maji inapatikana. Wow. Security iko sawa na all basic amenities zinapatikana. Shamba ni 3 na kuingia kwa draw ili kujishindia moja kati ya shamba hizi 3 ni 35